Hello, my name is Ashley Scher. I'm the founder and CEO of ShareLove.Fund. Today we're going to explore chapter 11, verse number 55 of the Bhagavad Gita. That is the last verse of this incredible chapter called the Yoga Vision of Cosmic Form. Let us hear the translation. All who desire me above everything else and thus completely devote themselves to me and thus offer me all their actions and thus shed all personal selfish attachments and feelings of ill will toward any other creature, Arjuna, they surely enter into me. So it's nice to note the checklist. It is a tall order. I particularly love renouncing feelings of ill will toward any other creature. It's really interesting. People talk about forgiveness and they say, don't forgive because the other person deserves it, but forgive because you deserve to not be harboring and holding on to that grudge. You know, treating people nicely and with compassion, alleviating yourself of ill will, there's actually like a personal benefit to all of that. So it's not all about being like hunky-dory, like, oh, I'm so good. But actually, like, if you want to live an easier life, letting go of all those bad feelings like is a sense of liberation. So I think one of the important takeaways from this is sometimes like in Judeo-Christian culture, there's like a lot of guilt, like, you know, do this or you'll go to hell. Here, it's they're telling you what to do, but in the practice of yoga, I've personally found doing these things, like sometimes letting go of ill will, actually has like a tremendous personal benefit as a stress reliever. And you know, they say stress is sort of what causes sickness and injury and stuff like this as a precursor. Obviously, these things happen, but when you have lower stress, your body can mitigate a little bit better. So I think that the idea is that when we release some of these feelings, and when we follow our passion, and when we're present, and the takeaway for the devotional part of this passage, whether or not religion is really your thing, the idea is that when you associate yourself with something greater than yourself, it's really uplifting. For people that aren't interested in spirituality, certain sports players have said that when they are playing for their team or they're playing for their fans, they are able to just like draw an even greater strength. So when you do things in service of others, it almost makes you perform better. And so that is something interesting to think about. So here I'm just going to review a few bits of the text. So basically, Krishna is sort of giving the to-do list of how to find refuge in him. He's saying, desire me above all else. So basically, whatever your goal is, whether your goal is spirituality or your goal is that job promotion, when you prioritize your goal as number one, you're probably going to get it. So I think the practical takeaway in this first part, desire me above everything else, is if you want something, then prioritize it and then do the steps to get it. But sometimes in life, people don't get what they want, but they're not going after it. They're not prioritizing it. So get your priorities straight, so to speak, whether it's spirituality or whether it's something else. I think the message is the same. This is just sort of like a how to conquer your goals passage, if read very broadly. The second part, and completely devote themselves to me. So here, if in a spiritual sense, it's saying everything you do, kind of do it in the name of the supreme consciousness. So, when you go to work, not do it for a paycheck. And in earlier slokas, they talked about not feeling entitled to the fruits of your labors. Don't not take the paycheck. You should take what you deserve. But the idea is that you're answering to a higher authority, like you're doing a good job at work, not in particular for the paycheck, but for the integrity, for the pride you have in doing your best work. And then, of course, like, take your paycheck. People need to live. But the idea is that you're more than a paycheck. Then shedding all personal and selfish attachments. When we get into this me mode, it's just kind of like a never-ending spiral of dissatisfaction. So our body is so limited, and to truly feel free, it is easier to associate yourself with something bigger than yourself. So if you have a family and you're working hard to provide for your family, that could be more fulfilling, because the thing is like happiness is sometimes fleeting, like pleasures are fleeting. And so if we're just doing something for each one of us to feel pleasure in this moment, that's not really going to last. But if we're doing something for a collective or for others, then try it, see if it works for you. But I feel like that kind of good feeling can be more sustainable. And then again, we talked about releasing the feelings of ill will, not necessarily because the other people deserve it, but because you deserve it, to not harbor that. May the light in me be the light in you. Have a blessed day. Namaste.